Hello, everybody. Welcome along to your Rabble Live at 5. It's normally a news show, but tonight it's a build-up show because, well, to be honest, there is no news. There's zero news, none kicking about. So it is purely a build-up show. So please do get your comments in to keep us going for the half an hour or so that we will be on. And then, of course, later on tonight at 7:15 p.m. over on the members channel on both YouTube and Patreon, we will have your full match day coverage, and then we'll be right back on here after the game for full immediate match reaction. My name's Mark, and I'm your host, and my co-host today is, as ever on these shows, it seems to be now, Bryan. Bryan, how are you?
Yeah, very good. I'm looking forward to the game tonight. A couple of bit of news to speak about, but we'll get to that. But yeah, it's been an average day up here.
Yes. And look, I'm not going to say I told you so, but Robinson beats McInnes again. I'm just saying. Right, there is a little bit of news, Bryan. And that news is that Aberdeen and the Celtic game has been postponed due to a waterlogged pitch. Oh, what a shame. This is a fantastic opportunity, Bryan, for us to go out tonight, put in a performance, get a few goals, get that game advantage over them. This is massive for us, and title races always, at least used to anyway, come down to moments and come down to a wee bit of luck here and there. And albeit they could start, it's Aberdeen, so no doubt that game in hand they probably do win. But you need a little bit of luck in a title race, Bryan, and we've been given a little bit of luck.
Maybe that's exactly it. When you're given a bit of luck, you've got to take advantage of it. And that's what I fully expect from this team tonight. Dundee, Motherwell's also off, so that'll derail Motherwell's little, run a little bit as well. So, yeah, we've just got to sit. We've got to go out there tonight and put Kilmarnock to the sword, and just it won't be a massive amount of pressure on sort of Celtic and Motherwell, but it'll certainly be a good bit of pressure on Hearts, won't it?
Yeah, and again, obviously, Hearts getting beat last night off of St Mirren as well. So it's a double whammy in a good way, actually. Not a double whammy. It's a two bits of positive news, Bryan. Hearts lost, Celtic game postponed, and we've got a chance to go 3 points ahead of Celtic and get 3 points closer to Hearts.
Yeah, absolutely.
The enormity of this game, albeit it's Kilmarnock second bottom of the table, a game that we all fully expect to win. The enormity of this game, I don't think, can be underestimated, Bryan.
No, I don't think it is. I think, the last thing we should be doing is taking Kilmarnock lightly. We've got to treat them with the respect. They're an SPL team, so we've got to go out there and do our business. We've got to, the players have got to, I would like to think that the manager and the staff have got to be saying to the players, look, Celtic aren't playing tonight, Motherwell's not playing tonight, Hearts got beat last night. Keep, reminding them where they are in the situation. And give them the confidence to go out and win, because we've up till the Hibs game, we were 8 out of 8. I think as was it Stuart said last night, 21 out of 23, I think it was, he said. So we'd have all taken that after the Hearts game. So it's been again, the Hearts result was Hibs result was disappointing, but at the same time, we were going to maybe draw one in amongst all that games. I think it was just the manner of the draw that was probably more annoying than anyone. So, but no, tonight is a real chance to put a bit of pressure on Hearts, and as you say, put us 3 points out of Celtic.
Yeah, 100%, mate, 100%. And obviously, after the Hibs game, it was a little bit doom and gloom because of the performance and obviously dropping the points and stuff like that. And if we look at, obviously, Ibrox tonight, Bryan, are we expecting it to be close to full?
I would like to think so. I would like to think it's going to be really full. It's under the lights. It's a Wednesday. Team's going well. The last home game we played, the fans stayed pretty much, not everybody, but vast majority stayed till the end of the game, which is something that the manager made that statement before the game. He wanted the fans to, stay with the team and support them all the way. So hopefully tonight we will go out there and, the fans will turn up for the players, because the players will feed off the fans and they need the the backing and the confidence of the fans.
Yeah. And hopefully, again, the postponement kind of just gives us a little bit more energy as well, especially with the game, Brian. And CGM's hit the nail on the head, and I've lost his comment. I can't believe I've lost it. Apologies, CGM. But I don't want to be sitting at 70 minutes, 75 minutes, 0-0, petrified that we're not going to get that goal. What we need to do tonight, Brian, is we need to come out, we need to react to the Hibs game, and we need to show that we're title contenders, and we need to get a couple of early goals, and we need to put on a real. I feel like we need to put on a real performance tonight.
Yeah, and I think as I think it was well said the other day. There's no point in going out and getting results and then following them up with poor performances. So although we've not played obviously since Hearts got beat, and obviously the postponements, we've got to take advantage of this tonight. There's no point, as you were just saying, you don't want to be hanging on, late on in the game. Try and be as positive as we can. Try and get as many early goals as we can, and make it a little bit more comfortable than what we have been recently. Because although we've been playing well and we've been beating teams, still never, there's been the odd game that I've not quite felt totally at ease. So I want us to go out tonight and get a couple of early goals, settle everybody down, and then enjoy the game, and try and see it out comfortably.
Obviously it's going to be maybe another hour and a half, maybe hour and 40 minutes until the team sheets come out, Brian, so we know exactly who's starting. But Shona Miller over on Facebook is asking, you think the new striker will get minutes tonight? I 100% expect him to get minutes tonight, Brian, but I think the more important question for me is, does Nadiri start?
I think he should. You've got to get everybody wants to see the new signings, right? So no, he's at home. If it was an away game, I think you could maybe legislate for but you want to get him into the Ibrox atmosphere as quickly as possible. Get him comfortable. He's playing the second bottom team in the league, so give him a bit of get him out there as quickly as possible. Get him some confidence. Hopefully he'll score tonight. And that'll set him up nicely for the rest of the season, because he's going to be, as we've all said since the window shut, he's going to be an important cog in this run, and he's one of the three strikers. So, and I can't remember who's just said that there. Baron Law saying two up top. I wouldn't be absolutely adverse to that either. Everybody's saying that Chermiti should be playing the sort of 10 role or sitting slightly behind. I don't know if that's something Danny Role's willing to do at this stage, but at least play, at least be on the front foot tonight and like impose ourselves on Kilmarnock. Not, as I think Stuart said last night as well, this two defensive midfielders at Ibrox, I've never agreed with it. Never agreed with it. We get the bulk of the possession. We shouldn't be having two sitting midfielders. We should be, imposing our game on the other team, making them go backwards, and putting pressure on them. Keep the match in their half, and just take our chances when they come.
The question we playing the two up front, unless you go like a 4-4-2, which I hope one day comes back into football, because my earliest memories are 4-4-2, and I love that formation, but it just can't cope with all the new fancy ones that are kicking about now. But do we have the numbers in defence, Brian, to be able to play a three at
the back? Well, we've got the three centre halves, but then you're risking that we've only got four centre halves at the club, one being injured for Cornelius, who is due back, mid-February. But I don't think he's going to play three at the back. I think he likes his four at the back. So I would imagine he'll still stick with his four. What he does after that, I'm hoping. I would like to see like a 4-1-4-1. One sitting midfielder, two advancing midfielders, and then two wingers out wide. So that's what I would go with. Put the pressure on Kilmarnock and impose ourselves on them.
Paul's saying, I don't care about a performance, just the 3 points. And I understand that, and I get that. And if we won every single game until the end of the season 1-0, Brian, we win the league, right? It's as simple as that, right? However, there's only so long, and the Hibs game showed that you can carry on playing and be, I don't know if lethargic's the right word up front, but not creating kind of breakdown between midfield and attack, that only lasts so long. You only get away with that for so long. That's why I think there needs to be, and when I say performance, Bryan, tonight, because the defence has been fine. The defence has been really good. The defence hasn't worried me at all. When I say performance, I mean Olsen getting on the ball, creating. If it's Mikey Moore or Gassama, taking on players, getting past them, if they get tackled, go again, but creating stuff for the strikers. And more importantly, Bryan, if it is Chermiti that starts, I want Chermiti in the right positions in the penalty box. It's far too often, Bryan, there's nobody in the box.
Yeah, as I say, if we play this 4-1-4-1 that I'm imagining, that I'm thinking of, then you've got 5 attacking players. And if the ball stays out the right wing and Olsen's got it, you've got the centre forward in the box, you've got the left winger coming in at the back post, you've then got one of the midfielders arriving in, so you've got 3 or 4 options in the box. And that's what wingers need. Wingers need options in the box. I certainly think against Hibs, we could have had our R9 up front and it wouldn't have made a grain of difference, because unless he's not getting the service, there's no point. So yeah, the service, I think everybody on it's a Rangers fan has been sort of calling for the service to the forwards to be much better. I think you get to the byline, you beat your fullback, you get the ball in. You don't go chopping the ball back and trying to beat him again. Do it once, get your job done, get the ball in. Because the attackers are sort of programmed to make runs anticipating your cross. When they make the anticipated run, the cross doesn't come. Then they're standing still. Trying to get a header on a standing jump is very difficult. So you've got to get the balls in as soon as you beat the fullback, because that's what the attacking players are expecting.
Yeah, I think also, and I say it's an advantage because it is, because Hearts have obviously dropped to 3 points. However, I fully expect Hearts to respond to that, Bryan. I've been waiting for a bit. But since Danny Rule came in, about 4 or 5 games after Rule came in, I was waiting on Hearts falling away. And they've only lost 3 games this season. So I fully expect, if I can get my words out, if I can speak proper England, that would be good. I fully expect Hearts to bounce back, Bryan. I don't see this as the beginning of the Hearts downfall.
Well, no, but they've dodged a few bullets in recent weeks. They've had games where they've been down to 10 men, they've managed to win games. They've been down to 10 men, they've managed to eke out draws. I think last night was just one too many. I said that in the group chat. I says they've dodged a few bullets with red cards and got away with them. I think last night was just one step too far, because I think that's the 3rd game, not consecutively, but in 3 out of the last 4 games where they've had a red card and very early in the game, and they've had to see out the game with 10 men for about 70 or 80 minutes. So last night was the same, and I think it was just one game too far for 10 men to try and hold out or try and win the game. And again, that's going to be the Halkett out for the Edinburgh Derby as well, so he's out for that. So there's ramifications there, because Hibs will fancy going to Hearts now after they've just got beat. So the Edinburgh Derby, as everybody knows, any derby, any result can get thrown up. Form goes right out the window. So no, it's I expect Hearts to bounce back, but it's a derby, so anything could happen.
And I suppose you've got to feel a little bit for McInnes, because he's thinking to himself, if I can go on and win this league, then going by previous seasons, that guarantees me a full season without a red card. You know what I mean? That's obviously what McInnes is thinking,
Yeah, I certainly don't feel sorry for McInnes at all. No.
No. Could you not hear the sarcasm in my voice there, Bryan? No.
Yeah, I did, absolutely. But no, in all seriousness, I mean, he's been quite smug for several weeks now. Winning games, just and saying this and saying that. So he was. I was waiting for him to blow up last night, but he didn't actually. I was quite surprised. So yeah, no, absolutely. We've got to just. I think that as most people have been saying, and it's a difficult thing to concentrate on. And I think you've been one of the advocates as well. Tonight's the most important game. Then the next game's the most important game, and then so on and so on. One game at a time. Win the game that's in front of you. There's no point speaking about games 2-3 weeks in advance. Speak about the game that's in front of us and win it.
Is there any worries at all, Brian, in terms of Neil McCann and Billy Dodds going into Kilmarnock, making them, would appear anyway, they managed to win the first win in a long, long time. A bit of a manager bounce for the Kilmarnock players, and obviously Neil McCann knows quite a lot of these Rangers players, knows their strengths, knows their weaknesses, probably knows where to target, etc., etc. Is that a worry at all going into the night, or is it a case of, Martin, don't be so stupid, it's Kilmarnock at Ibrox, we win?
I would say the latter. Yes, don't be stupid. It's Kilmarnock at Ibrox.
Calling me stupid is a bit harsh, Brian. But...
as I said before, we've got to impose ourselves on Kilmarnock. If we impose our game plan, properly, pressure them, I've always said that no matter how much effort you put in, the more skillful team will win. If the effort's exactly the same, the more skillful team will win. If our effort's not the same as Kilmarnock's, we could come a cropper. So we've got to match their intensity. We've got to match the desire that they want. Our better players will come to the fore then. But unless our effort is matched, if we match Kilmarnock's effort, then I don't see why we shouldn't win this game by 2 or 3, 4.
In terms of who you would like to see on the pitch tonight, Brian, there's obviously that debate about the midfield. Is this a game where players could be rested? I was on Kerr's podcast last night, and I was asked the question about who would you play in the middle of the park, and just purely because of recent games and the upcoming fixtures that we've got, I felt, forgetting of course that we're playing Queen's Park at the weekend, I felt as though maybe this could be a game where you could bring Diamandi back in, play Chukwueze, and then it's a choice between either Asgard or Raskin. It would be the perfect opportunity for me to possibly give Nico a wee bit of a rest, because he's effectively played every single game. But of course, we've then got Queen's Park at the weekend, which, going by last season, might be the trickier game, Brian.
Just be quiet. I would like to focus on this game. Queen's Park can take care of itself at the weekend. We've got to put our best team out tonight and make sure we win the game. I'd like to see Raskin, Diamandi, and Chukwueze in the midfield. Chukwueze looked really good last time I seen him at Ibrox. He imposed himself very well in that game and getting forward, and could have probably scored a goal that day, if it was a bit more of an accurate shot. But no, I'd like to see that 3 in the midfield tonight. The rotation can happen at the weekend to a certain extent. I'm certainly not saying we should going out against Queen's Park and making ourselves weaker, but this game tonight's far more important than the weekend one. We've got to get 3 points as an absolute must tonight, absolute must, and that's what I'm praying that the manager's going to. We said against Hibs that Diamandi should have played. For some reason his energy just brings the best out of the rest of the team. It just seems to drag everybody up a notch, and I'd like to see Dio playing with Chucky and Nico, as everybody's saying. I would like to see that. I think that would be a nice foil. I think between the 3 of them, they can all take turns and sitting and going forward. So if Dio and Raskin make a run forward, Chucky can sit, and then if Chukwueze or Diamandi decide to go, Raskin can sit. So at the end of the day, I've always thought Diamandi's a good, more forward-thinking midfielder. I always feel he's got a better eye for goal. But they can rotate it. Between the 3 of them, one can sit, the 2 sort of attack in midfield, and they can rotate it nicely. Give each other a break, stuff like that. So, yeah, I'd like to see that.
In terms of the creativity that we're desperate for, Brian, is that midfield 3 creative enough? Does Dio do enough going forward? We don't really know that much about Chukwueze yet in terms of where does he feel most comfortable in the park. And Nico Raskin can score for set pieces. He can set up goals. I just don't think he does that enough for me. So with that midfield 3, and then obviously depending on who we put out in the wings, is that creative enough?
I'd like to think
Asgard be a better option as a creative midfielder.
No, I'm at the point now where I'm slowly losing faith in Asgard. He's just not strong enough for this league. I think he wants far too much time on the ball, and we won't get it. The Scottish League doesn't allow you time to look up and take your pick of what pass you want. You've got to be one move ahead and know where the pass is going before you get the ball. So no, I would certainly like to see that three in the midfield. I think up against Kilmarnock, I would like to think that three have got enough creativity in them to do the damage.
There is a few people in the comments, Bryan, saying that they would like to see, and I think it was our very own Paul McCorrickle, I think, because the comments are flying in, and thank you very much for that, by the way. Paul said he would play Moore in the middle of the park. Again, listening to a few Tottenham supporters, they said that when Mikey Moore moved into that number 10 role, he was scoring goals for fun. He seemed to suit that position a lot more than he did playing out wide. But I don't think that's the way that the manager wants to play, and I don't know how well Moore would do as a kind of central midfielder.
Yeah, this is the thing now. The manager's got to sort of pick the formation tonight for the game specific. So he might see Moore as a 10 tonight. He might see sort of Diamande as a 10-8 sort of situation. It's all again. Every time I think Moore's came on, he's looked decent. I'm not saying he's set the heather on fire, but he's certainly got something about him, and he'll do something out of nothing. And I take that point as well, with Gassama, because there was a lot of chat last night about Gassama and folks saying that Curtis and that, but Gassama can produce something out of nothing. And that when a fullback's faced with, or a defender is faced with somebody that they don't know what they're going to do, that's an advantage for us, and we've got to use those players to their full advantage.
Skov Olsen, Bryan, a player that has been spoke quite a lot about since he came in the door, and I'm of the opinion, I think many other people are as well, it's not just me, that he's not match fit and he needs minutes, and these games are perfect to get him minutes. But do the support tonight just need to be patient with him?
Yeah, they absolutely do. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to go and look at his appearances the last season and see that he's not played an awful lot for Wolfsburg. So expecting him to come into the hustle and bustle and the high tempo of Scottish football, that's asking an awful lot of him. I think, as Ash said last night, you've just got to keep playing him, increase his minutes every game. So if he plays 70 minutes tonight, plays 75, 80 the next game, and so on until he gets his full 90. Good players always get back to match fitness reasonably quick. And I'd like to think that Skov Olsen's not going to let his fitness go to a standard where he can't, play. So he's easily going to manage, as I would like to think, an hour, 70 minutes, no problem. It's getting him up to the 85, 90 mark that you want, because you want these guys constantly on the pitch, constantly causing fullbacks problems. When you look at the window, Skov Olsen's probably the marquee signing that we made, because we've been trying to sign this guy for a long, long time. So when you look at the window, he's probably the guy that we're all looking at now as the sort of the best player we signed on that window. So he's the one now that's got to somehow, he's got all the experience that a lot of these guys don't. So he's got to take that senior role now and say, look, come on guys, we can do this, and drag everybody with him.
Just quickly on something that the manager said yesterday in his press conference, and he was talking about Conor Barron. And he said 2 weeks, and then he said 4 weeks, and then he says maybe 2 to 4 weeks. Tripped over his words a little bit there. And we're talking about this midfield tonight, and we're talking about having one sitter, etc., etc. And we're saying, well, and you're actually made the good point that Raskin, Dio, and Chukwueze can do all of those roles, so they can all interchange. Where does Conor Barron fit into this midfield for you, Bryan? Because he'll be back early March.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Barron's been given that advanced role enough. I think he's always been in that sort of two at the back. I don't think he's been given license to go forward like the other guys. Maybe that's not his game. Maybe the manager sees him as a 6 or an 8, maybe not the 10. So it's the manager's going to adapt to every game. He's going to move players around. He's going to ask for different roles. Tonight might be a 4-3-3. Next game it might be a 4-2-3-1. I don't particularly like the 4-2-3-1 because I never feel that we should have two sitting midfielders, but it just depends on the opposition and where we're playing. So it's going to be a difficult one for Barron because he's up against a lot of high caliber midfielders now, and up till he got injured, he was actually our best player this season. So that's the weird thing. So he's going to take some shifting to get those three out of his way. So I do feel that it's going to be up to the manager on how he sets up his team and the formations.
Out wide left, Brian, it will either be one of Gassama or Moore, I would think, unless I'm missing somebody. For you tonight, it's weird because the conversations have been getting had about impact players, and is Gassama actually an impact player? I would ask the same question about Mikey Moore. Is Mikey Moore an impact player? We've seen it at Parkhead, and most of the times that I've watched him, and look, he's going to be a cracking player, Mikey Moore. He really is. But he seems to take a while to get into the game, whereas when he comes off the bench, when the players are a bit more tired, it seems to suit him better. So is it a case of we have two left wingers that are impact players? And if so, which one do you start the night?
Kilmarnock at home. I would like.
Does it matter, Kilmarnock at home, who we start? I
don't think it does. I think it's going to be tactics and how the manager, whoever plays right back for Kilmarnock, for example, if he feels that the fullback's not exactly quick off the mark, I would imagine he'll play Gassama because he's got the pace. Whereas if he feels it's the other way, he'll play Moore. I don't think there's pros and cons to both Moore and Gassam starting. I think that. It just depends what the manager feels, and I think on evidence, Moore has got more of a sort of consistency about him in the sense that he's got more. I think fans feel he's more direct than Gassam. I think Gassam's got the edge stats wise purely for the fact he's got 8 goals and 3 assists, mm-hmm. But I think folk feel they're getting more out of Moore. Time will tell, but it's a difficult one because they've both got attributes that can suit a left winger no problem.
That's not that easy to say, is it? More out of Moore?
No,
that's not the easiest thing to say. And actually, somebody who we've completely forgot about to speak about. Actually, multiple man's asking, will we see Romans tonight? I would fully expect us to see him, Brian. Apparently, he's been excellent in training. He's looking good. We might even see him start.
I will.
But then, would you take the risk of starting both Romans and Nadiri?
No, I would see Romans as a sub tonight. I would think. I think he'll continue with Magoma. I think he'll see Romans as maybe he'll get 45 minutes tonight. Come on in the second half. No, but I fully expect Nadiri to start tonight. I really want to get him on the pitch quickly as possible. Get some goals in him. He said he took the number 20 because he wanted to carry on his what he's doing at Hansa Rostock. So get him on the park tonight. No, nothing to lose.
I'm going to start doing random comment of the day.
Okay.
I think that should be a thing. Random comment of the day. And random comment of today goes to We Are the People 6528. Bring back Brandon Barker.
He was.
Absolutely no need for it, that comment whatsoever. But, we'll bring it up. Yeah, okie. And actually, Kirsty's making a good point there as well, Brian. Right back tonight, Dujon Sterling struggled against Hibs. You could see it in him that he struggled against Hibs. Do you give him this game as well to try and get a bit of sharpness, or do you bring back Tav? Because I don't think Aaron's, for me anyway, isn't an option to start.
Did I not hear that Sterling is in the fan zone tonight?
Somebody said that, and then somebody else said no.
I heard it in another chat that Sterling was in the fan zone tonight.
So if that is the case, then it's Tav.
And it's Tav, absolutely. So yeah, if what we've been told is correct, Sterling's in the fan zone, then it'll be Tav. So Paul McCorkle's saying that he's in the fan zone. So
he is in the fan zone. So he's injured again then.
Looks like it.
This can't keep happening unless the managers just went, maybe you're not quite ready yet, I'm leaving you out. If that's the case, fair enough. But see if he's picked up another injury, Brian. That's a real problem position for us for the next 14 games.
Well, it is, yeah, because I think everybody can say that Aaron's had one good game. What was it that I can't remember who it was against, but he had a decent game. But that's his only one. He's looked ropey all the other times. So it's, when you've got an aging right back, you've got a young right back that's unconvincing, and then you've got a guy that you really want to play but can't play because he's injured all the time. It is a problem. And this is going to be this is an issue now that's got to be solved in the summer because we're obviously past the window. So, it's a headache for the manager in the summer. Absolutely.
Well, we're going to need to wait and see the manager's pre-match to find out why Sterling's not in the squad. And if he simply says, I'm just resting him, I've maybe brought him back too early, then fine. Like he says, if he says it's an injury, then, we are the people again. Then we need, that's slightly harsh the way you've put it, but we need to look for a serious replacement at right back in the summer, Brian, because we can't keep going like this.
No, it's not fair. It's not fair on the club. It's not fair on the lad either. We're pitching him in, thinking that he's fit, and then something happens. So it's not fair on everybody concerned. So unless, as you say, unless the manager comes out tonight and says, look, we just maybe pushed him a bit too early, then fair enough. But if this is another injury, then gee whiz.
Yeah. Again, and right now it's just speculation, of course. We don't know. A massive thank you to Spin and Birdflip, by the way, who has gifted a Rangers Rabble podcast membership. Spin, and thank you so much, my friend. And of course, whoever was lucky enough to get that gifted membership can join Kenny, Ian, and Alex for your match day coverage over on the members channel. It is, of course, live on both the YouTube memberships and the Patreon memberships. And if you haven't joined as a member yet, for as little as £1.99 per month to get access to so much extra content, it's actually hard to keep up, then why not? Links are in the description for that, folks. So get in there, have a look, and see if you like it. And I guarantee it's probably the best membership of any membership that's ever existed. That's how Carlsberg get away with it, Brian. They just say probably, and then you can say whatever you want. Like, I'm probably more handsome than Brad Pitt, but I'll just leave that one there. Bear Cohiba to Bryan, and of course the main man. Bryan is the main man. Bear, he is the main man. We kind of discussed this at the start, but who do you think will start up front? Just because he's a new player, I want to see Nadiri start, right? Just purely because he's a new player, I want to see what he can bring. But we also do have to remember, Brian, that we've got another two strikers there in Chermiti and Miovski. And could tonight show the positions where the manager ranks them?
This is the headache the manager has tonight. This is what he's got to come to the decision, is in the sense of, has he seen enough of Chermiti and Miovski to convince him to start him over Nadiri, who he's just signed. And obviously, I was listening to Derek Ray on a podcast, and he was saying that the assistant coach at Rangers has watched him very closely. So the coaching staff all like him. So I would like to think if you're a betting man, Nadiri's going to start because let's be honest, the coaching staff are all German, the players German. So I can't see any reason why they wouldn't. He's scoring goals just now. He's in form. He's fit. He's ready to go. So can't see why.
So Brian, are you saying that if Chermiti and Miovski just quickly learn German, they might get in the team?
Well, maybe you have to get round the house.
That's a horrendous accusation to make about our manager, Brian.
Well, maybe you have to go around and help them with their German. You speak fluent.
yeah. Ich spreche bitte Deutsch, actually, Brian. I don't speak fluent German. And that was before we got Danny Rule. I was learning German, so I don't want to hear any of that. But Bear, thank you very, very much for the support, my friend. It is greatly appreciated. And Lee, Sterling is made of paper mache. unfortunately. And it's not that I stream my makeup on in the member shows. It's that it's 1080p, so I look real in the member shows. Just extremely handsome. Bryan, so just before we go, if I could just ask everybody, if you're watching on YouTube, please do hit the like button and make sure you're subscribed. And like I say, if you want to become a member, you can now. The links are in the description. Thank you to everybody tuning in over on Facebook. Please give us a like and share the show as well. And exactly the same on Twitter. Bryan, all I'm going to ask you for now is a prediction.
3-0 and an Adiri opening goal scorer. There you go. I'm going all out tonight. I'm all aboard the Adiri train.
I said 2-0 last night. I'm saying 2-0 again, and I'm saying Fernandes.
Fair enough. No, I'm going Adiri and 3-0.
I like it. Baron Loyal's going 2-0. He's going with me. He's going with Fernandes. Baron knows who the main man is. Venom Edge is saying we're going to concede.
Oof, Wolf won't like that. Wolf will not like that.
Wolf's going to want to find out where you live, Venom. if you're hitting where we're conceding. Blue Max, he's all in, Bryan. He's 6-0.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's all in. That's an Olsen hat trick, an Adiri double, and Fernandes opening goal. That's what that is.
I'll let up.
4-0 seems to be a popular scoreline. So does 3. Again, another 6. So it's fair to say, Bryan, that we're extremely confident going into tonight, as we should be.
As we should be. And, of course, Curtis can't play for Kilmarnock because it's his parent club, so there's that as well. So,
who's Curtis supporting tonight, Bryan?
Well, I'd like to think he's an hour end tonight, you know what I mean? I think he'll
be in with the... Don't let him kid you. Curtis will be in with the Union Bears tonight.
Exactly. He'll be in the Govan stand with his dad and his other supporters, or the Broomloan, I think it is. So, yeah.
See when my brother made his debut for Dundee United, right, against Falkirk in the Cup, and as he came on the pitch, there was a guy in the Falkirk Ultras who plays in the same Dundee United team as my brother when he played for the under-19s, and he's in the Falkirk Ultras giving it loudy, and I'm like, I love that. That's brilliant, man. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. He was getting him sticking on that as he on the pitch, and he plays with him. So I love it. I absolutely love it. Right, folks, that will do is the team sheet will be in about an hour, maybe 50 minutes. 6:30 for the team sheet. 6:30.
It's usually an hour and a half before kick-off.
Roughly about that. So we will wait and see. And I'm really excited, Bryan. I must admit, I'm going into this game quite excited.
Yeah, I mean, it's something to look forward to. You know, everybody's excited to see these new signings. You know, because you know, maybe the last home game we were at, you know, folk weren't at, and Chuck Wani and Scott Wilson were playing. We've got the new signing, Nadiri. So you know, there's a little bit of optimism now, and obviously with last night's result, and then obviously the postponements tonight, there's a real feeling now that we can actually steal a march here and put some pressure on. So absolutely, there's a little bit of optimism. I don't see why not.
100%. I hope to see you all over on the match day coverage for the members content. Sorry, I hope to see you all over there. Failing that, I do hope to see you all back when we come for immediate post-match reaction, like 5 or 10 minutes after the game. We will be back. Bryan, thank you very, very much. Thank you for the super chats, the memberships, etc. On the show today. Thank you for all the comments. And yes, 100%. Rest in peace, John.
Oh, I know. I was gutted.
Massive part of my childhood was John Virgo.
Big break.
I loved. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that show now on STV and getting the kind of players that they got on? Stephen Hendry, Rory O'Sullivan was on it. Jimmy White was on all the time. Oh, loved it. Absolutely loved it. Where's the cue ball going? Yeah.
That's right.
He was some commentator as well. But
he was good.
Right, folks. Well, I hope that you sincerely enjoy the rest of your night, because if you enjoy the rest of your night, that means that we've won. And we will speak to you all very, very soon. Bryan, thank you. Everybody, thank you. Enjoy the game.